Right, so we're back. Another wee video. Posted that first video the other day. Thank you very much for watching it, commenting on it, and all that sort of stuff. I'm just trying to share these things wherever I can. So bear with me on that and send me a wee message, reply, whatever it is, to help me with these, and we'll keep making some content and see how it goes. So, a lot of talk in the transfer market at the minute, eh? Who are Rangers going to sign? This player's sort of linked. This player had connections to Russell Martin. This one's possibly coming in on loan. All this speculation. I'm not really going to talk about any of that until something's official, because that can just get crazy. And it's fun. It's fun. I'm reading all the posts. I'm looking at everybody's stuff. And some people get up in arms about that, like, oh, wait until it's official and all of that. And I can understand that, but it's fun. It's fun being a supporter at the minute and and just sort of thinking what it would be like to sign that player, or getting grumpy that that player's been linked, and that stuff's fun. So have your fun with that if you want. I'm just not going to really make a video and post about that until somebody's official. But I sort of like it. I like some of the players being linked. I like some of the names. I like some of the ideas. If they pan out, then we'll go from there. But what I wanted to talk about today was, so obviously the new manager's in, the new owners are in, but more so the manager. And we've got a whole roster of players, we've got a whole squad of players that he's looking at and evaluating, and probably has been doing so. But the players on loan that were away on loan that have come back are sort of interest, because if you think, we had some players that when Big Phil came in that maybe just didn't fit his style of play, and so they were put out on loan, right? And one player in particular I want to talk about is Jose Cifuentes, because he had come in, and full disclosure, I'm in America, right? I'm in the States. I live in Chicago. I've lived here for years. And I do watch some MLS, right? I was previously a season ticket holder for the Chicago Fire. The MLS is alright, but I watch games when I can. I'm no right into the MLS or anything like that. But usually the way it goes here is the West Coast games. So the West Coast games start where I live around 9 o'clock at night, my time, Central Time. They're on Pacific Time. So if I'm just sort of in the house and it's nothing really going on later on in the day, and there's a decent West Coast game on, and they're well followed, those teams are really well followed, I will have that on and just sort of watch. And a friend of mine actually has a business interest in LAFC, so whenever I can, I just sort of throw a wee eye on them and just sort of keep up with what they're doing. And it's a great team, great setup, great stadium there. The West Coast teams in the MLS are I think the product's quite good. They do quite well. So I'd seen Cifuentes before he actually came to Rangers, and I was quite excited about him signing, because I was like, oh, the games I had seen him, he had done really well in the game. He had, he's a type of solid midfielder that can control a game from the midfield. LAFC was playing through him quite a bit, and I mean, he's no, turning the world upside down, but a good solid player, and I thought it was a good signing for Rangers. Of course, he comes kind of slow to get going. He never really established himself in the team. Struggled, had a couple of wee injuries here and there, but and I don't know, right? I mean, I'd heard all kinds of stuff. He was having issues with the weather. Obviously, he's for Ecuador. Then he's playing in LA, which the weather's always perfect in LA. If you've never been to Los Angeles, it's a dump, but it's the weather's beautiful. So there's complaints about the weather, and he gets put out on loan, right? And I don't know, maybe his style just didn't suit the manager at the time, didn't suit the Scottish game, that these kind of things happen. But he goes out on loan down to Brazil, does all right down there, doesn't play a ton, right? I think he had, let me just look, he had whatever he had, 12 matches, something like that, down there for the second half of the season. He got injured, if I remember. And then he goes to Aris, where he played quite well, right? Played really well for Aris, and he's coming back apparently because Aris had a loan option to buy, and there was a deadline for that, and apparently that's passed. I mean, I don't know. I was not involved in those contract negotiations, of course, but that was the word on his contract, was there was an option to buy, and it was hinged on a time period, and that time period's come and gone, and he's back at Rangers. And you know, the reason I look at players like him, I still think he can do a job for the club. He's whatever he is now, 25-year-old, 26-year-old. He come to Rangers 3 years ago, so he's much younger at the time. Sometimes it just takes a player a wee while to develop. No saying he's going to be some, every week on the team sheet for our club, but if a player like him comes back, gets assessed by the manager likes what he sees and wants to integrate him into his plans, and he can come in and he can execute, that's almost like a new signing, because we've never really seen too much of Cifuentes. I mean, he's played, what's he got, 9, 15, 18, almost 20 games for us. Obviously, a season and a half of that he was out on loan, and he's been signed for 3 years. So a player like that can come back, and if he can take advantage of an opportunity, if he gets one, it could end up being like a new signing. And when you look at it, he's rated €5 million. I mean, I remember when we signed him for, it was like 1.2 or something, 1.2 million, and there was some other sort of add-ons or something like that, which I thought was cheap at the time. I thought that was a good signing. And I mean, I think that's around what we got asking for, right? 1.3 or something like that. So we'll see what happens. Again, I don't know, but I don't know if he's in the manager's plans or what the deal is. But keep an eye out on these players that we've had that have went out on loan and are coming back, because it's the same with the Birmingham boys, right? The boys go down to Birmingham, we think we're getting rid of them, they're on decent sized wages and weren't really fitting in, and then we're hearing that the manager wants to take a look at them. Hey, look, if he can get all the juice out of those grapes, how can you argue with that, right? I don't really care who it is in what position, as long as they're performing, as long as we're getting out of them what we need at that position, and they're doing something for the club, then I'm all for it. I don't really care what the name is on the back of that shirt. But it'll be interesting to see how the manager handles some of these returning players, especially the ones that are coming back on loan. I know that the spotlight at the minute is all on brand new signings and new names and all of this kind of stuff, but it's worth it to keep your eye on some of these names that we know that maybe we're a wee bit disappointed in, and that maybe we're a wee bit not sure of, just to see what happens. And just so that if you do see them on the team sheet in the pre-season, you're not all up in arms. Obviously, there's a plan in place and something's going on. But that's it. Again, Cifuentes is no the saviour at Ibrox, but I think it's worth kicking the tyres on him under this regime and seeing if there's a place for him. Highly rated player, money-wise, right? As far as transfer fee goes, he's played well everywhere else he's been. What are we missing? And sometimes that just happens with players at certain clubs. You just, for whatever reason, that situation, you just can't get the most out of them or the best out of them. But We'll see what happens. I'll keep making some of these videos. I've got a couple of topics I want to talk about. I want to talk about Raskin. I want to talk about Tavernier. I want to talk about the new owners. I know quite a bit about the San Francisco 49ers and how they run their show. Whole lot of topics. Obviously, transfer topics when they come in, we'll talk about them, but just trying to give a wee bit more content. I mean, I'm talking about Rangers every day, all day anyway. Might as well let you hear what I'm rambling on about. So, and then I'll give a wee bit of background on myself as well, in case you're wondering who's this jackalope that's hopping on everybody's page, posting these videos, wanting us to watch them. So that's it. For now, I'm Mark, and we'll be back with the next one.